No, up by
You
Side
killed
Lake,
those deer. There's-
up by Side Lake,
Oh.
yeah, and it's hunting one. Steve Curtis.
I've logged 20 hours that you're talking about. I saw lots and lots of deer.
That one, huh?
Yes.
They're not on.
But I saw tons, so it was actually kind of like
Dave
tons of
saw
does,
lots of
lots
does,
of
too, yeah.
does. And then a porcupine, 10 turkeys, a fox, a couple grouse. It was like wild America. I saw this thing coming into the grass and I was like, what is that? So I coyote, he's all light. It was a porcupine. I've never seen a porcupine like come out in the middle of the field. It was weird. It was hilarious.
You don't need to ask.
And you don't have to steal.
I
You can just have it.
walking through the grass and I see white
I don't
ducks,
like
like
that
the
word.
white.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a coyote. I was like, what is that? It was waddling weird. I was like, not walking like an elegant
Rami
like fox or
to
coyote
get
or anything.
fed.
Pretty soon it waddles out and just shoots
They
there
told
and
me
eats.
2.5
And it came up the
hours
next night
out there
too.
before.
What was?
A porcupine.
And I had an electrical issue this time, yeah.
What did you say, porcupine? Yeah.
It was strange.
And they had to replace the
But,
motor
you
on the
know,
step guard.
So I was like, how can you stick
Because
it
it was
down on this?
messing with
Well,
my air suspension.
it's heated,
My air suspension
very
wasn't
nice.
working.
nobody bothers me. And I just sit there and read my book and enjoy it and just look around.
On your property or?
It
And then
is
they
like,
changed my
it's like the
oil, so
most
Mark
pleasant
doesn't
10
have
hours.
these
Like,
t-shirts.
nobody's saying,
Oh, you go by yourself?
It's like, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
December of
Can someone
3
come
years.
over? Can you run me here? Nope.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
This is the third electrical.
Every first
The
opening
the one that
morning,
I just
I
had
get
was
a video.
fixed.
It's opening
Because it was a screw base.
And then she'd go into this long dramatic
Ready?
thing, you
He
know.
was so excited.
Everybody ready?
Okay.
Call to order the regular meeting of Independent School District 695, Chisholm, Minnesota. Pam, could you roll call, please?
Director Casey,
Here.
Director Raha,
Here.
Director Randasar,
Here.
Director Rice,
Here.
Director Crotty Simon,
Here.
and Director Love.
Okay, moving on. Public comment? Seeing or hearing none, we'll move on. Recognitions of guests and visitors. We have Jordan here.
Evening, everyone.
Hello.
Hand out for you.
Yay, more paper.
Killing trees.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm here tonight to mostly talk about bus garage. So this kind of recaps our discussions from the working session. At the working session, we talked through additional projects, funds available, stuff like that. So what I've done is, this document is familiar, it's the document we've been working off of. We took a look at our discussions and revised this to reflect what we talked about. We talked about the athletic field work, still being planned to happen, but also evaluating that. I know there was some questions about whether we replace light poles entirely or do new bulbs on those projects, stuff like that. So we did kind of table that for now, knowing that there is funding available. It's just what's gonna be left, and that might dictate which way we go on some of those projects. Kind of ruled out some of the concessions and locker rooms, work grandstand, choir room repurposed for now. The band room refresh has been completed or contracted, it's near complete. And then the pool backup heat, same thing there. So I've just stricken those off as that those are not at the forefront of conversations right now. We did talk about proceeding with the high school classroom cooling. And then I've struck off everything regarding the existing bus garage, carpentry shop, cold storage, etc. So at the working session last, we had for the new bus garage, 2.75 million. Luke and I were looking at it, and as part of the discussion where we said we'd go back and revisit that number, we did up it a little bit. Our intent there, I think 125,000. We did up it a little bit. Our intent there is just to be conservative. So this is a project budget that we would be working with. But that would be, the number that we would move forward with. I know I spoke with Lisa today that I had given her the wrong number for the actual approval on the agenda. So this, worksheet shows us proceeding with those, also showing the other, projects that we discussed and have interest in is the camera replacement, the furniture, and then the network switches. So where all this leaves us with, some of the new grants and the kitchen money factored in is that, proceeding with the cooling and the bus garage, there's still a projected balance of $779,000, which would cover the athletic field with just the bulb replacement and some others as it sits. So, like I said, this is really just reflecting what we talked about at the working session and kind of a reminder of how we got here. Any questions or anything to start with?
When you did your reassessment, where was the major increase coming from?
Primarily site work. Site work can vary so much from any project that no two sites are ever the same. There isn't necessarily standard there. So just when we're looking at some of the tunnel work that needs to go away, the asphalt being torn out and the potential for boulders, we felt that'd be best just up that a little bit. Now, this is also our budget. This is not a hard bid by any means or anything like that, but it would be the intent to stick to that for the cost of the total project. Or reduce it, obviously. I'm always looking to reduce.
Do you have it broken down anywhere, what it would cost to have a fully heated versus a wash bay that's heated and the rest cold?
Not necessarily. I think like a budget price, like I'm comparing it to a bus garage that was done in Holly. That was around $150 a square foot for heated, maybe $70 a square foot for cold storage. I know another thing that we factored in that came up is that we've been talking about cold storage, but I guess there is actually heat back in the cold storage, so that's where we're programming a fully heated building at this point. I would have to go sit down and work through some numbers and we'd have to look at that, but no, I don't right offhand.
Any other questions by the board?
I was excited about the price on the agenda better, no, I'm just kidding. I was like, sweet, those guys are awesome.
Yeah, no, I don't know where that number came from. I don't know if I had a typo or if I just wasn't thinking, I don't know what it was, but it was like, that's not what we showed, right? So,
That will leave us with the $779,000 does not include the athletic field improvements, correct?
correct.
So
Right now, that just includes, in the included column, it just includes the south classroom cooling and the new bus garage. That being said, as part of our other conversations is that this is conservative, safe numbers. We also anticipate there's gonna be unspent contingency and unspent general conditions, and potential for grants or other funding sources, to free up more funds. So this is just with what we know today, being conservative and being on the safe side, showing that we do have that funded and picking up some of the additional stuff. That was kind of what we talked about, is being able to pull the lever, when the time is right towards the end.
doesn't leave us a whole lot of leeway. When you put it into the athletic field, it leaves you with about 161,000 as a buffer. As we all know, you can't count on grants coming in, and many times grants, they want them to match. We know that.
One thing I should add too is that this 2.875 is the all-in number, so that's all the design costs, that's contingency, that's general conditions, everything on that number. So that does, within the 2.875, that is money set aside for some of the unknowns, for dealing with some boulders and stuff of the like.
And you're talking still about the site over there, or?
we're still talking over there. So, another point, that jogs my memory, so, we still have Widseth working on finalizing the program, but I got some good input from Lisa last week as far as bus counts, tractors, all that stuff. So again, with this number, we felt that it's, very safe. At the same time, I think the goal would be to look at how can we combine the 3 spaces yet minimize square footage as well. So there could be potential to lower the budget, but at this time, that's where we would put it. If we were trying to do like for like.
Explain to me briefly, Jordan, the initial 2.7. I think it was 2.7.
2.75. In regards to the difference between that and this number, or?
Yeah, I think, well, when I go back as far as August, 2.6.
Yeah.
With the two, I'm gonna try to jog your memory so you can jog mine.
Sure.
The initial 2.6 did not include the cold storage, is that correct? Or the carpenter shop?
Included cold storage, but not the carpenter shop.
Yeah,
But not the
right.
carpenter
We always
shop.
knew that the cold storage had to happen, the carpentry shop was a question mark.
Any other questions for Jordan at this time?
Well, you're saying that there's gonna be like 779, whatever, but the stuff that we all said that we wanted is a million something more, so how is that gonna work? If you think about it,
Well, exactly.
I mean, with the new bus garage and the cooling, I mean, then for all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other things that we had said for sure we wanted, we're not gonna be able, I mean, that's not all gonna be able to be done.
So an option could be to get a new bid as cold with 1 heated bay. And kind of see where those numbers come in, because it sounds like per square foot, it's about a $40 difference per square foot. It's almost double,
It's double.
so.
150 versus 70.
That being said, I think it is important to note that, we've talked to our drivers and we've talked to our maintenance. They are not excited about the idea of not having a heated building. So that's something to kind of keep in mind as the decisions are
The
made.
heated bay would just be for cleaning, you're saying? And like repairs or whatever,
Well, that would be very, very difficult.
with
I
one
mean,
bay.
being maintenance without having a heated, those guys are outside in this cold all the time.
And it's one big building, it's not like
And to
it's.
keep vehicles operating well, I mean, we all know how much better our vehicles are when they're in a garage.
What type of heater are we talking about in this 2.875?
So this is mostly based off budgets, right? We haven't done really any design work, we've just started the initial stages. Just the Holly bus garage that I compared it to, that has hanging gas heaters.
That's what we're just talking
Now, that being said too, again, we're looking at this as trying to be conservative with the budget at the same time. What the next steps would be is that when we pull the design team in, not so much just Lisa and I asking everybody in 5 minutes, bringing in a user group, sitting down, walking through designs. Basically, you guys remember doing the user groups with staff and on the addition and stuff like that. Definitely look for opportunities to try to get that number down. That's just more money that could be spent elsewhere. That being said, to answer your question, with the athletic and the camera placement, the network switches, This scenario shows that we have 780,000 left. I don't know what those total to at exactly a million or something.
For all of them is 1,031,846.
That's where I'm saying, when I'm talking about unspent contingency and general conditions, I would project that there's going to be money there. Is it gonna be 1,031,000, or is it gonna be 999,000? I couldn't tell you exactly at this point, but that's, to answer your question, I do think there is money left in the budget to address some of these things. It's just, we don't know how exactly it shakes out till we get retainage paid out, we get projects closed out, and the books are closed on this project.
I just don't wanna see our priorities change. I mean, because we work so hard at getting our priorities in order and then.
And you guys have worked so hard at keeping the cost, the bids down, which has been wonderful. And it's like, do we gamble?
Jordan said this is a budgetary,
Yeah, it's
and I
not.
know how good the Jensen has done about bringing in bids under budget. They've done it all the way through. So, and again, I just, the garage itself, let's just say for argument's sake, that this garage goes sidewalk to sidewalk. How many square feet that would add to what we currently have, which would increase the cost. But we need the stalls for 9 buses, plus Suburbans, plus a place for plows and things like that. So it's gonna, in my convoluted mind, it's gonna lengthen the building. It has to.
Absolutely, and that's part of what the design team is working on when I refer to the program. That's really just trying to match square footages with use.
Yeah.
So a lot of that is gonna end up being, we need one-on-one time with staff and people using it and
Well, yeah.
and people in there, but, yeah, it's a little bit different than the original referendum when there was a building concept way along ahead of the time, and
Yeah.
there's somewhat of an idea here. It's kind of a blank slate, so, it could go bigger, it could go smaller. I'm always gonna probably point towards smaller, just knowing that we have other things that we want to accomplish here. But it's, very, very initial stage of design at this point. We really haven't formally started anything.
Hypothetically speaking, let's just say it went out for bid tomorrow, how long would you post the bid for? Month and a half?
I think state statute is 2 weeks. I typically, if we're not in a rush, get something expedited, I'd probably go for 3 weeks. Plus time for addendum or a storm billing. or
And once the
something.
bids are submitted, do we have a certain amount of time whether to accept or reject?
I typically have 60 days. Contractors need to hold their bids for 60 days. So I think part of the conceptual schedule we had on this was that we would start design in December, and then we would be ready for bid sometime around end of March, and then bid in April. On the construction side of things, at post bid, that would give time to get the site work done this summer, get a foundation in, and then if this stays a pre-engineered metal building, which I think it would, then we'd be set and ready for that pre-engineered metal building to come. So it'd probably be a late fall, early spring finish, depending on what this project ends up being.
So how many, where are Suburbans going out? Are they in the current garage or are they in the cold storage
They're
building?
in the bus
I
garage.
believe there's 6 vehicles in the bus garage, and then there was another 2 plow trucks between the carpenter shop and cold storage, and then 2 Kubotas.
So we'd be spending $1.5 million roughly if we repaired the bus garage, and that's no guarantee that other things don't go wrong, right? So it's like such a hard thing because we aren't gonna have any more money after this, I don't know. I'm all about a new bus garage, obviously, but.
Any other questions?
If you go out for bid, they can still reject the bids.
Correct.
You know, so it gives you an opportunity to see real
See.
numbers.
So what we approved tonight is like approval to go out after the bids.
Well,
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
bids.
Get it.
Well, what we're approving tonight is just that we're gonna proceed with a bus garage. So then the next step would be, at the next 24th board meeting, we would have the sub-consultant and our design fee proposal ready to be executed, and that would be what formally gives us direction to actually start the design and proceed. So we'd be committed to the design portion, and bidding portion. Then when it comes to bidding, yes, we could reject bids, we'll know where numbers are. We could also look at different options, like I kind of just picking on that Holly Bus Garage because I just did that one, but also we had some budget, I don't say concerns, but questions. And so we had a bid alternate to do a portion as cold storage, portion as uninsulated. So that's part of something where the design process really, we would design it towards what the district would prefer there. That being said, too, you know, that's my role is doing estimates along the way to make sure that we're tracking with this budget, to see where we land.
And in this 779, the $75,000 grant we just received, that's included in here, so we
Yes.
don't have another 75. So
Correct.
really, we've got about 600 left in the original funding. But we moved $100,000 from food service. And we received a grant for about 75, so
Mhm.
really left in the original money of about 600 if you did.
Yep, and then there's also, aside from the general condition contingency, there's also potentially some more interest earnings out there. I know we're still being conservative on that too. We'll have to see how that all shakes out. But, yeah,
Any other questions?
The 10,000, the bid from Vanguard, just for bulbs.
Like at the football field,
What's that?
at the football field?
Yeah, that's just for bulbs.
Correct.
Okay,
So that's what's listed in here.
The bulk
Just
one.
bulk.
mhm.
okay. Okay,
The cost of the full, what did it say in the
That was
list?
like 600.
If we did new posts,
402.
maybe 402.
403.
okay. Okay, I'm good.
If you do all the upgrades to the old bus garage, so it'd have new roof, tuck pointing, you do the same to the carpentry shop, and then the cold storage building. So cold storage, is that a building? That's what that is, replacing the one that we're tearing down. What would be the longevity of that? I mean, that's a lot of money for a new bus garage. It's hard for me to swallow. It's not educational space, it's like a lot of money. I don't know, it's hard. I mean, 1.5
Is that
is
2.8, is that with that educational space that we had talked about
No.
putting in? No, okay, yeah.
It's just really tough. I mean, I get it seems, a little silly to dump up 1.5 into old stuff too, but that's a lot of money, that's double almost.
It's a point, for me anyhow, that you can fix that garage.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
it's still too small.
That's true.
It's too small. And I think the doors are too narrow. And again, I don't know how many mirrors they've lost or whatever it is, but the point of it is, we have these buses that don't fit. So we have two choices in my estimation, build this new one or leave them on site. And use that space for something else, educational, whatever it is. But when you go in there and you look at the roof, at the innards, oof. I wouldn't wanna be people in there if that didn't get fixed. So here, they talk about tuck pointing, they talk about a roof, but they don't talk about the framework inside and stuff like that.
That doesn't increase the size.
The boards are bending, they're bowing.
We did have the initial report with the structural
Yeah.
findings that it was probably the worst building on the campus. And part of what we talked about, which this probably goes back a month ago, is when we started looking into proceeding that way as far as redoing those. Those are all ran off of the steam boilers. So then, you know, we had tried to account for that in these numbers. These are by no means hard bids, but there's a lot of uncertainty and unknown as far as how far the state would make the district take that in plan review when they see the amount of work being done. But I will say that was the one kind of detrimental case, is that, yeah, it would be cheaper, but long-term, you know, we can't guarantee it's gonna be significantly cheaper, and then long-term, 10 years down the road, more issues could come up. What would the plan be then? So, you know, and we're looking at it from, you know, every angle. So if we're at a point where you want us to go back and look at some other things, we're more than happy to do that.
Rental space.
I don't ever remember getting a mirror though. When you said that, I was like, I don't remember anybody ever talking about actually when you drove in to the bus garage. I can honestly say that I thought that the buses were too long. Obviously, you had to get the front mirror into the little hole that they had dug into the wall, but getting them in, hitting a mirror was,
At the door.
I never even thought of that one. The bus garage. I'm sure maybe they are, I never had a problem with that.
To move the conversation along, I guess, Jordan, thanks for your information.
Yes, thank you, Jordan.
Yeah, thank you for everything.
What we have on the agenda is to move with proceeding for design of the bus carpenter cold storage building. And again, we can reject any and all bids at the time, when the time comes. And my suggestion, if that scenario came, that all bids would be rejected.
In the whole project, you mean? Of the whole project?
For that
Mhm.
in particular, not just rejecting the lower bid. You'd have to reject the lowest responsible bidder in all bids, so that it alleviates, in my opinion, some legal issues.
But if we agree to this, are we tied to this?
We're tied to design.
Correct. Correct,
But once
so,
the design comes along and we start getting bids and we're like, and no, we can say no?
yes, to the construction project, yes. Yep,
But we would be tied to the cost of the design.
correct.
Well, I'd rather be all that than over budget.
Okay, thank you,
Thanks,
Jordan.
Jordan.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks.
Any other guests and visitors? Seeing none?
Mr. Maloney? What do you want?
That's Mr. Maloney in the reports.
Oh.
Motion to approve the agenda with the addition of Mr. Maloney's report.
So moved.
I'll support, but we also need to make a change to administrative A to reflect the correct amount.
Yeah.
Does Director Raha agree to that correction?
Yes.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And reports, Superintendent Perkovich.
Can I defer to our
You
principal
can.
first?
You
I'd like to
can,
defer
whatever you'd
to
like.
Principal Maloney first.
I'm just trying to keep Nick. healthcare.
Oh, boss.
That's not how we did it, you know, but.
We've read quarter one, so we've got a handful of things to present to the board. I think one thing that we are really good at the high school is giving our students some real world workplace experience. So a handful of field trips that have happened or are planned to happen. Rose, our nurse and CNA class teacher, brought her 11 students to a Discover Healthcare event during quarter one to look at and learn more about healthcare careers and options post-secondary. Our shop teachers brought around 50-ish students to the Logging Expo. They do that every year in Grand Rapids. A bunch of different booths and expos that they can exhibit. Again, more possibilities post-secondary. Another 40 or 50 students went on manufacturing tours in Grand Rapids. They visited 5 different sites. So again, just opening up some options for kids and what they could do post-secondary. At Minnesota North College HCC, there's a Tech Career Day in December that we were signed up for, that we're sending about 35 kids to. So again, more options for technical careers. And a new one that I'm excited about is our forensics teacher has asked, and we have approved, and the judge has approved, sitting in on a courtroom trial coming up within the next month or so, and sitting in and getting that experience of seeing what that would look like. Yeah,
Cool.
I think that's pretty exciting. Quarter one, we held a blood drive. We had a full bus. It was nearly full at the end. Some of the kids didn't pass the requirements once they got on the bus. And we already have another one planned for December 3rd. So I think that's one thing we do a really good job of, is those blood drives come and we fill up that bus every time, so.
And any of us can go.
Yes, we have a lot of staff
Yeah.
members that participate, community members and students, yeah. Last Monday was our quarterly PLCs for teachers. A lot of things we talked about. Updating the course catalog. What courses are we offering? What more courses can we offer? I'm doing some of the legwork, thanks to Superintendent Perkovich, on, you know, the kids get this registration packet and it's white pages and it's black and white, and I'm gonna try to make that look a little more presentable and exciting and sort of thing for kids to see, and because that's what they care about, and that's okay. We had discussions about more CIS classes we could offer, to try to retain some of these kids. I know recently I was at the high school law conference, and there's discussions about some things CIS and that could help us retain some kids, so that's exciting news. Nothing's set in stone yet, but our lawyer's confident that some of those things might happen. And we also discussed rotating some 7th and 8th grade quarterly classes to include more things, where maybe if a student doesn't get in 7th grade, we put it in for the 8th grade the next year, and just to give those kids more options at 7th and 8th grade level. We have utilized and been awarded a handful of grants so far this year, so a lot of these work-based field trips that we've done and future ones are being funded via grants that teachers have applied for and that we've gotten. So busing, food if they stop, transportation, that sort of thing. And for some shop equipment as well. Mr. Johnson, who teaches a welding class, got approved for a grant to buy some more welders. I know in one class he has 13 students. He currently has 7 welders for, I believe, 12 welding bays. So we're getting some more welders, getting some more equipment so we can get all those kids working all the time. So I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Did that go into the
Yeah.
foundation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I didn't mean to steal Mr. Rocky's thunder, he's not here, so I will anyway. I think athletics needs a shout out at the high school level, especially on the girls' side of things. Our girls volleyball team had a really great season this year. I was at that game against Floodwood, they lost in the semis, but they had a lot coming back next year, and they're gonna be exciting to watch moving forward. Of course, I can't leave out Olivia and Destiny participating in the state cross-country meet. Olivia finished 31st, and Destiny was 55th of all the girls that participated at the state training, so.
They're so young.
Yeah, they have more time.
Yeah.
They're great. In our PLCs last Monday, we had some professional development time for our para staff and our 7th to 12th social studies and science teachers. They participated in some required READ Act training, so they're getting up to speed on all the things they need to know in terms of what's coming for the high school, all the staff with READ Act training, and so they're staying up to date with that. Some data from Q1. We are down 1 student from the last time I presented, from 291 to 290. Part of that is we did get 2 new students since then, and we have 3 that have transitioned to the ALC, some high behavior students that needed more help than we could give maybe, and kind of give, make that learning opportunity equal for all students. 91% of our students have 3 or fewer log entries get written up in trouble in class, and 65% still have 0 log entries, and they've written up 0 times. So the ones with the higher numbers are more frequent, but the majority of our students show up, do what they're supposed to do, and respectful to our staff. Attendance wise, I think we're doing pretty well. Q1, 78% of our students have attended school 90% or more. That's the benchmark the state likes to see. And we still have 85 students out of that 290 that are at 100% attendance. So as much as we can keep that number up, that's awesome. Grade wise, 81% of our students have maintained a C average or better in Q1. 51% have maintained a B average or better, and 11% had a perfect 4.0 to end Q1. I'll end on this because this was new today after I made my report. Another exciting athletics note, Nathan Wangenstein, former kicker for my football team, just set the all-time kick point record at Augsburg University this past weekend. So he is in the record books. Yeah, he's in the record book as the all-time leading scorer at Augsburg University.
That's awesome.
He used to be a soccer player, didn't he?
Until I convinced him to play football. All in all kickers. I take any and all kinds.
He's still working on a certain soccer female player to come play with you, but she's not coming over.
They score a lot.
Any questions for me?
What did you say the percentage was for A average?
11.
11.
4.0, 11%, or perfect 4.0.
And that's 712?
712.
Nice.
I would just like to mention that you forgot to mention the girls swimming and how well they did at their section.
Oh, that just happened.
They didn't make it to state, but they swam very well.
Shout
That
out to
actually
the
just
girls.
happened.
Shout out to those
Just
girls.
finished on Saturday, right?
Yes,
Monday
thank
they
you.
were here.
And I have to expand on that a little bit. They did well considering the meet was very slow run.
The first Thursday.
We were 3.5 hours into it, and it was not moving fast. The swimmers were, but the meet wasn't.
Sure.
But, and for swimmers, track people and such, to sit around is not good.
And then they just sat around and thought about how they were missing Sadie Hawkins. The poor girl.
Oh, it's right, the second Saturday.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Mr. Malani?
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
No,
Nick.
thank you, good
I
night.
I have my football banquet tonight, so we'll be leaving. If you have more questions or you want to discuss things further, come see me tomorrow. I have nothing on my calendar other than that.
Oh, you just said that.
That was a
mistake. You just got filled out again.
Oh, enjoy yourself.
My door's open anytime.
Thank
you.
Thank you. Ms. Buckovich.
All right, back to me. So I'll start with a little bit of athletics. As Principal Malani mentioned, Adi Baki is not here. He is over at a training in Deer River. But I just wanted to update you on a couple of things that you're going to see in the board agenda today, just to make sure that everybody's clear on them. And the first one is that you see that there's a coach listed as volunteers. And we've been having a lot of discussions internally about what does volunteer truthfully mean. And our definition of volunteer means that there is no compensation, okay? So unfortunately, many of our past volunteers have been through board action as volunteers, only to be compensated at some point. And so we are figuring this out a little bit. And we worked with our coaches, had a coaching meeting with them to talk about when do you need a volunteer coach and when do you need a paid coach. So you'll see that the one that is in there today is volunteer. It's not intended to stay as a volunteer, but we wanted to get this person approved and get the background checks done. The position is posted then as a paid position in which this person can apply for. We just wanted to make sure that we were doing the hiring practices accurately. So it's been published, they can apply for it. And then you'll see that same name or potentially a different name come back through after interviews as a paid position rather than a volunteer position. So that's one of the things we wanted to make sure that you understood. And then, are you all familiar with what Form A and Form B means
No.
for the Minnesota State High School League? If you look at it in your board agenda, you're like, what am I applying for? I kind of thought that might come up. So Form A is a form that really just goes off our free and reduced numbers. So it's kind of an allocation. So we fill out some numbers of free and reduced, we submit that to the Minnesota State High School League. And they let us know based on our allocation and our gender breakup, whether or not they're going to give us some money. It's kind of used for equalization. It's used for paying some athletic fees for individuals that may struggle with paying with athletic fees or things like that. That's what Form A is used for. Form B, we have to give them specific projects that we want to use with Form B. And so our Form B really right now talks about transportation subsidies and talks about a leadership conference for our captains to get them a little bit more into understanding what it means to be the leader of a team and where that goes from there. So that's what Form B is. So when you go to vote on those are going on two very separate things. Both are due to the Minnesota State High School League tonight by midnight. So on the agenda today. Talking just a little bit about construction, maintenance, building stuff. I just wanted to make sure that everybody got the update. During our working session, there was some conversation on whether or not we could reuse some of the coolants that we see in this building. And as they went through and looked at these in comparison to the new systems, it's just not a usable option to reuse any of these systems. So you'll see these systems go into the auction at that point. So those will not be available. Couple of other things then. I know that there's been a little bit of community question on this digital display board. Okay, so I wanted to make sure we're all on the same page of what the digital trophy case really is about. The digital trophy case is not intended to never display a trophy again. Okay? Every state trophy, every section, winner trophy, those trophies are very, very important. Some of the ones that you might see just go digital would be more like middle school or consolation, or I got 4th place participation trophy, but yet it's in our trophy case. Some of those might go a little bit more digital. Those will be offered back to the coaches, back to students on that team, or put in the auction. But any of the big ones will still be on full display, and some will be on a rotating basis. So some will be in storage, and we'll kind of rotate them through because people like to look at that history. It's meant, yes.
This will be able to display all kinds of
All
information
kinds of information.
that you can't have out because you just don't have the space for it. I think it sounds pretty fun.
So one of the things that we touted at the walkthroughs that we did was that we can take every single yearbook and we can put every yearbook on there, and I can say, show me a picture of Jackie Simon. And every time that Jackie Simon comes up, it's gonna pull up on this digital display case. That's not something that we can easily do. We can't just put every yearbook up to do that. So there'll be some things like that. What Mr. Milani was just saying.
Right, yeah.
What Mr. Milani was just saying, we can have, okay, who's on the honor roll, and they can click on this quarter's honor roll and pull that up. So it's not just athletics based, it's meant to enhance everything, so.
And that's gonna be in the gym?
It's on the wall of
Yep.
the, I think.
The commons?
Yes,
Yep.
kind of going over towards the, the concession.
Correct, yeah. So not quite in the concessions, it'll get a little too congested, but kind of out in the.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think it'll be super fun.
So we can dispel that rumor a little bit.
Good luck with that.
I know, right?
You're not throwing the trophies.
So hopefully you saw the Did You Get Tricked on Halloween? We threw a little flyer out. Those that cared read it, those that didn't care thought it was a Halloween poster and they moved on, but that's okay. No school, this will be on your agenda, for actual board approval on the next one, but I just wanted to make sure that it's kind of getting out there as a conversation piece. We've talked to our elementary staff about what they think they need in order to be able to move their classrooms into the new facilities. So right now, what we're looking at is no school for children in grades 4 through 6, that's the kids in this building, on February 10th, 11th, and 12th, which would give the teachers the ability to move everything from their classrooms over to their, with conferences on the 12th and 13th and a fresh start right after, over there. And then just thinking ahead so that our elementary, our bond counterparts can be thinking about end of the year celebrations and all of the things that go into planning. Right now, we're proposing May 26th, 27th, and 28th would be off for grades PK through 3, which would mean they would be done the Friday before Memorial Day. The teachers, of course, are not, the kids would be. At that younger grade level, and maybe even at 4-6, we're having some conversations about whether we might need to open up some daycare opportunities for families that might struggle with closing. So it might look like having a sign up and then having a couple of our paraprofessionals staff a daycare, to make sure that we're not hurting our community if they need that.
I think pre-K,
Is probably done.
They're
by-
Done anyway.
they're
I
done
guess.
by that time.
They're usually done a couple weeks early.
So we're gonna let that float just a little bit for about another 2 weeks, and then you'll see it on your next board agenda, just to make sure everybody's kind of on the same page. And then you should see, I don't know if it went live today, or it will be going live tomorrow, a posting for an operations administrative assistant. And that is basically a fancy way of saying a secretary, but it's the new kind of words, we're kind of in this world getting away from secretary, moving into administrative assistant. And that will be in lieu of a transportation foreman. So it's not an added position, it's a change of a position more in the clerical realm versus the transportation foreman, as we've struggled for the last 3 years to fill that position adequately. Okay?
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
You heard us mention just a little bit, when Jordan was speaking that, we have been approved for a $75,000 grant. That is not on this agenda, it will be on the next agenda as well. Just wanted to get that out there a little bit, and that's to offset some of the restroom costs in the elementary, so that helps our budget a little bit, so that's gone through. Upcoming things going on, parent-teacher conferences are this week, Thursday and Friday. So remember, there's no school for students on Friday. Tomorrow is the Veterans Day program, and that's at 10 a.m. if you're interested in the Veterans Day program. And Friday, there is a Chamber of Commerce tour of the new facility just for chamber members. So if you're interested in training your chamber members, you're welcome to join that as well. That's at 11 o'clock, I believe.
Do we have to limit how many board members are here?
You probably would need to.
I won't be.
And I'll be here, because I sent out the letters or whatever, but I mostly sent it to Chisholm Chambers, they're the ones that directly
Yep.
are supporting the school, I
Yep,
mean,
that makes sense.
is that right?
Yep. that
Okay.
makes sense.
And then isn't there
It's at what time on the 14th?
11.
special someone? Isn't that this week?
That's Thursday.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what time special someone is on Thursday?
Starts at 10:30.
10:30, I think they want us there, yeah.
And that's at the Vaughn, correct?
It's at the Vaughn, yes.
Just
You're
really
gonna be there, right?
Huh?
You're gonna be there.
I was just gonna say, I don't know who operates this, but if you try to click on the schedule, it brings you to a weird page and doesn't let you really view it. I don't know if it's
The
You're talking about the
school-
calendar.
the calendar, yeah, sorry.
The school calendar?
Yeah,
The school calendar is not,
Not working.
well, it works, but it is not
Up to date.
phone capable.
or even computer.
And when you look at the school calendar that was posted, it has Thursday as, and the little blue box says that conferences are from 8.
Oh, it didn't get updated, so that's what we did last year, we have the full
Yeah,
day.
because, so that's why it was good that we sent that out, because the little blue box that's on for Thursday, the 13th, says parent-teacher conferences. Down below it says November 13th, K through 12 conferences, 8 to 6:30. So if a parent's looking at this, it's gonna be confusing thinking there isn't school. And as a school board member, I actually did not think there was school on Thursday looking at the calendar. So.
We'll get that updated. Thank you for bringing that up.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last thing for me really is just an update on enrollment. Currently we're sitting at 719, which is 10 up from last year, of where we're at. So we're seeing some ebbs and flows, which is pretty common at Q1. We see some kids that go online. We see some kids that transition to the NLC, like Mr. Milani was talking about, due to some behaviors and things like that. Any questions?
All right. Moving on. Item 6, motion to approve the consent agenda. These are the minutes of the October 27th, 2025 regular meeting, minutes of the October 28th, 2025 special meeting, accounts payable month-end reports for the October 2025 in the amount of $3,135,379. Payroll month-end report for October 2025 in the amount of $713,103.45. Minnesota North College Career Exploration Program reimbursement in the amount of $454.81. And Minnesota North College Career Exploration Program reimbursement in the amount of $410.
Motion.
Motion by Director Lappy, supported by Director Crowdy Simon. Any discussion?
On board book, were these numbers on there? Cause I don't recall seeing them and they're not in our packet.
For Ena?
For all the payrolls and.
Did you do the
Better
tech
to
today, or
do
did you
it
do the, you told the attachment or whatever?
So one of the
Yeah,
things.
it's not in our current.
And I just wanted to kind of expand a little bit on the month-end reports and the payrolls. And I talked to Superintendent Perkovich about this. Possibly in January, when we do our organizational meeting, actually creating what's called an audit committee. They'll actually go through the bills and just sign off on them along with Mr. Kazar.
So rather than printing it all out every meeting, is what you're saying?
Right. And that way, I think when you're on that type of board or committee, you get a better understanding of where our money's going.
Mhm.
And, obviously rotate or something of that nature. So duly noted on the payroll and the bills report. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 7 under personnel, motion to approve Katie Pearson as volunteer girls junior high basketball coach for the 2025-2026 basketball season.
So made.
Motion by Director Lappy,
Support.
support by Director Ron Sauter. Any discussion? We talked about this maybe 2 years ago, I think, the difference about volunteers and stuff. Being that it is the school's team, they still have to follow our rules. So,
Yep, you get background checks and
yep, so.
should be some sort of concussion training. Just to make you do it for everything. They make you do it for everything.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8, administrative business. Motion to approve proceeding with the new bus, carpenter, and cold storage building estimated at $2.875 million.
A motion.
Motion by Director Raha,
Support.
supported by Director Lappy. Any discussion?
We need to amend that motion so that it's very clear that you're proceeding with the design
Yeah.
versus proceeding.
I would
with-
agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I support that.
yes, absolutely, yes.
I can't make a motion, so I say.
Yeah.
So it's an amended motion.
Mhm.
I'll amend the motion to state that Director Raha and Director Lappy also have to agree to that.
Yes.
Yes.
Any other discussion on that? Just to let you know that there will be costs, even if we reject all bids, there is still is gonna be a cost.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
Well, there's a huge cost with this field building anyway, so I might as well just plan for fuel.
It's a tough thing, it's just a tough, you just don't know what way to go.
Yeah. Hopefully the other building will come in.
Yeah, and at least this
Even more,
gives us a little more time to, get a little more, the more information you can have, the better off we are, so.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B, motion to approve the resolution of Chisholm School Board supporting Form A application to the Minnesota State High School League.
Make a motion.
Support.
Motion by Director Kai Simon, supported by Director Randa Sauter. Roll call, please.
Director Raha,
Yes.
Director Rice,
Yes.
Director Lappy,
Yes.
Director Randa Sauter,
Yes.
Director Crowdy Simon,
Yes.
Chair Casey.
Yes. Motion carries. Item C, motion to approve the resolution Chisholm School Board supporting Form B application to Minnesota State High School League.
All motion.
Don't forget Bob motion, I'll support it.
Motion by Director Raha, supported by Director Crowdy Simon. Once again, roll call, please.
Director Raha,
Yes.
Director Rice.
Yes.
Director Lappy.
Yes.
Director Crowdy Simon,
Yes.
Director Randa Sauter,
Yes.
and Chair Casey.
Yes. Motion carries. Item D, motion to approve a grant from the Chisholm Community Foundation in the amount of $8,000 for the Chisholm High School Digital Display Project.
I'll make the motion.
Oh, good, I'll support it. Danielle said motion.
Motion by Director Randa Sauter, supported by Director Crowdy Simon. Any discussion? I just want to say again how much the Community Foundation does for this school.
Yeah.
And there isn't a time that it doesn't go appreciated. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item E, motion to approve a grant from the Chisholm Community Foundation in the amount of $8,741.06 for the Chisholm High School welding booth.
Motion.
Motion by Director Lappy,
Support.
support by Director Rice. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item F, motion to approve the READ Act Training Memorandum of Understanding between Independent School District 695 and Education Minnesota Chisholm, Local 1276, for the period from July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2027.
All motion.
Motion by Director Raha,
Support.
support by Director Lappy. Any discussion? Again, this is required training and can be extensive and long. Is there an end date that they have to have it done by? 2027, that seems like
So we have 3 taking it this year that are getting caught up on READ Act, and it's due by July 1 of this year, of 2026, this school year. And then, but we kept the MOU live because if they still need to do phase one next year, we didn't wanna have to redo the MOU.
Okay.
Gotcha. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Items G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N are all policy approvals. I will list them and we'll make one motion. If the directors choose to pull one, can do so. Motion to approve policy 201, legal status of the school board. Policy 205, open meetings and closed meetings. Policy 206, public participation in school board meetings, complaints about persons at school board meetings and data privacy considerations. Policy 208, development, adoption, and implementation of policies. And policy 209, code of ethics. Policy 211, criminal or civil action against school district, school board member, employee, or students. Policy 212, school board member development. Policy 213, school board committees. Entertain a motion.
A motion.
Motion by Director Raha,
Support.
support by Director Lappy. Any discussion? Are we getting pretty caught up on all this?
They seem to be.
Just sounds like it kind of
There's
just
no
over.
rotation, yeah. I like the policy on developing policies.
Yeah,
Yeah, I should have pulled that one.
yeah.
Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 9, discussion.
I just want to bring one thing up, the PTSA and Ms. Corrado and Superintendent Kirkovich, they had that scholarship night, and I was there on behalf of the Kiwanis Club, and it was really cool to see how many people showed up. And, you know, it was really cool to see, like, each of us spoke, like United Way, Kiwanis, Elks Club, CCF, somebody else I'm missing, but anyways, each of them kind of expressed like the importance of community volunteerism with these scholarships. Mrs. Charter was there, she actually offered, here's my email if you need help with anything with scholarships. I mean, it was really educational and it was so cool to see so many people interested. Like you said, of the grants that we could, or the scholarships that could have been awarded, wasn't even a third of the way that could have been last year. So it was, I think, something that we should do again and just maybe earlier so people, like I was talking to different groups, like, you know, maybe we could get Mrs. Corrado or the, you know, somebody, student senate, all the volunteer opportunities. A lot of people don't even know that they can volunteer unless they have a parent or something on a board of sorts, so. So I mean, it was like just my nephew personally is like, I didn't, and you said volunteering, I didn't know you had to volunteer just to get these. I'm like, well, it's a sense of community and, you know, giving back. So it was really kind of warmed my heart to see how it turned out. It was cool.
Was it well attended?
I would say there had been what?
11th and 12th or just 12th?
It was just seniors.
Seniors,
And
okay.
so what do you think? There was maybe 20?
25.
Yeah, which
That's
was
pretty good.
with their
That's pretty
parents
good.
and yeah, it was hopefully they just, yeah, I got some emails from people that looking for
Yeah.
volunteers, you know, volunteer opportunities, so.
Well, it's also nice to get the information out there. It's really sad when people don't apply for the scholarships that are available.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
We heard over and over that night that there were 1 applicant, 2 applicants. So it's really, really important. We've got to push these kids somehow
Yeah.
to apply. They're leaving so much money on the table.
Yeah.
Exactly. So much money.
Any other discussion? More information? Just a reminder, that's program tomorrow, 10 a.m., correct? 10 a.m. Someone's special Parents' Day at Devon on Thursday. Anything else I'm missing?
And then Friday, the tour with the chamber members. Are you doing
For
that?
the chamber.
Are you doing the tour? Yeah,
And what time is that again?
11.
9 o'clock. Okay,
I feel like there's something where you don't have to worry if behind board members together, if you're going to like an event or a tour or something like that, but there will be
Well, I don't know if I can make it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but I know you missed the last one, so you have to go, you have to,
yeah.
Uber kids.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting that
But I'm,
the tour that you're giving is right around lunchtime.
Mhm.
We'll see how that goes.
There's no Kids Friday, so.
Oh, that's right.
So going,
Actually, I left the school today at lunchtime and those kids, they were whipping themselves around on those little sleds.
Yeah,
They were having a blast, there wasn't even any snow, they were just pulling them on the sidewalk.
Or what, the wet grass, got a little.
Yeah,
bit
they
wet.
went, I did have to say, I went very slow because they were, pushing them down that little tiny hill. It's like- But they were having a good time.
Who
I-
says kids aren't creative?
That's right, they are very creative.
Seeing
Yeah.
no other business before us, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So many.
support.
Motion by Director Raha, supported by Director Randy Sauter. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Motion carries. Time is 6:03. Thank you.
hiccups.
Thank you.